Welcome everybody to the committee meetings of the San Benito CISD Board of Trustees. The time is 5:33 and I will call these meetings to order. We begin with roll call. I don't have the list in front of me, so I'll just go in order. Ms. Janie Lopez.
Present.
Oscar Medrano.
Present.
Mr. Rudy Corona.
Present.
Dr. Ariel Cruz. Mr. Orlando Lopez.
Present.
Mr. Mario Silva.
Present.
Ms. Teresa Cervellon.
Present.
Mr. Stephen Weller.
Present.
And I'm here, so we do have a quorum. We began today's meeting with public comment, but before we do so, I want to read the contents of what public comment is all about. Public comment. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the public comment portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. At a board meeting, the board shall hear all persons who desire to make comments to the board. A person who wishes to participate in this portion of the meeting shall sign up with a presiding officer or designee before the meeting begins and shall indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. For each topic, a speaker shall be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to make comments. If more than 10 speakers are signed up to speak on the same topic, all additional speakers on that topic shall be limited to 2 minutes. In consultation with our legal counsel, we have currently, and again, I welcome each and every one of you, but currently in reference to cheer and cheer tryouts and cheer amendment, everything involving cheer, we have 12 public comments, which we welcome each and every one of you. The first person who turned in their participation request form is Ms. Crystal Hernandez. So Ms. Hernandez, you will receive 3 minutes. Since we have a multiple topics talking to things related to cheer, everybody else will be allowed 2 minutes. Okay? I continue. A person who needs to address the board through a translator shall be given 6 minutes to make his or her presentation. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject. And just a reminder, please refrain from using people's names specifically or making any personal attacks. With that said, once again, welcome, and we begin with Ms. Crystal Hernandez.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm here to read the following statements that were included in our SBHS cheer constitution. We do not have a current copy. We've asked for a current copy, and we have not been given that current copy. So I'm using what was in place last year. This shouldn't change what was done prior to, but this is what I'm reading. Section 2.8. A committee of judges will be contracted, tryouts will be conducted virtually, of course that was last year, and will score the candidates based on video submissions. Judges may be any professional cheerleader/sponsor, not affiliated with San Benito CISD. Decisions of the judges are final. By signing and submitting signature pages of the Constitution, you have agreed to the decision made by the judges. The judges' names, addresses, and phone numbers will be confidential. All right, this year was obviously different because we had actual in-person tryouts. So I'm here to express my disappointment with the decision that was made by our interim superintendent to completely disregard what all of us participants that were on that meeting agreed to. We had to sit through an hour-long meeting. This Constitution was read word for word. All of us that were present agreed to this Constitution. All right, students and parents. All right, so by allowing what was done, the message that was sent to our students that did make that team was that their scores were invalid. What they scored didn't matter. And by allowing everyone to make the team, you're basically, and I understand that it's a select few that complained, but basically you're saying that if you don't get the results you want, if you have the right connections or you make a lot of noise, you can get what you want. And that's exactly why the high school has trouble keeping a cheer sponsor. There's no support. The Constitution states that the cheer sponsor has final say-sos. That's not the case. That's why you have a high turnover in cheer sponsors. I also want to point out that this is a huge liability for the district to have this many girls on a squad. There is no way that you have two sponsors that are going to actually be able to supervise these girls adequately. They are doing stunts. They have girls up in the air. My daughter is personally a flyer. Girls have been dropped. They have had concussions. Girls' skin have been split open. This is a huge risk that you're putting these girls in. The amount of girls that you're proposing to have on this squad is almost identical to the size of the football team. You would need to have that many coaches on this cheer squad to adequately supervise what these girls are doing when they're stunting. In addition to that, the issue of when these teams travel for football games, the most anticipated game of the year, Boda, we're playing away. They already don't accommodate our size. Our band is sitting on foldable chairs on the track. There's no way they're going to accommodate this number of cheerleaders. What's going to happen then? What decision's going to be made then? And 4 of you board members came in not too long ago running on a platform of transparency. Where is that transparency? Why weren't we informed? Why was a decision made for only one side when there are 2 sides here? We understand, and we by no means are here advocating for these girls to be removed. We are advocating that the correct decision be made for a JV team to be selected or put back on. Why it was abolished, I don't understand. But every single sport has a JV team. They even have JV light, JV dark. Nobody is saying that these girls shouldn't be on the team. What we're saying is that there should be a JV team because, like was mentioned to us by
Ms.
administration.
Hernandez, I'm sorry, your 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next in line, we have, I'm sorry if I don't do this name justice. I want to say it's Azenia Hernandez. Is that correct? No. Azenia? Azanaya. I'm sorry about that, but welcome. Hi. Hang on just 1 second, and please know that you have 2 minutes, okay? You may begin. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Azanaya Hernandez, and I am a current junior at San Benito High School and a 3-year returning varsity cheerleader. I would first like to say how grateful I am to have made the cheer team, and I am looking forward to cheering underneath the Friday night lights next year. Although I am very thankful for this opportunity, I am also very hurt by the decisions that were made to put every girl and boy on the team, even after they did not make it. I feel as though all my hard work and all the time and effort I put into tryouts did not matter at the end. I showed up every day giving 100% at each practice and at tryouts. For what? Why have tryouts if you're going to put everyone on the team? Why sit us through an hour-long meeting reading a constitution to us if you're not going to follow it yourself? In Article 4, Section 4.1 of the Cheer Constitution, it states, candidates should understand that acceptance into the San Benito CISD cheerleading program is a privilege, but it does no longer feel like a privilege anymore, because not everyone earned their spot fairly. It feels like the person that made the decision did not think about the consequences it would come with, but most importantly, did not think about the feelings of the 28 girls that originally made varsity. The other day, I had spoken with one of the administrators at school about how I felt, and he said to me, so what you're saying is that you don't want these girls on the team and you want us to take them off. At that moment, I felt as if he was trying to make me seem like the bad guy. I never once said anything about not wanting those girls on the team. I understand a decision has already been made, and I'm not fighting for them to be completely off the team. But if you're going to allow everyone that tried out for the team to be on the team, at least keep the current JV girls on the JV squad and put the ones that did not make it at all on JV, not varsity. Having a spot on varsity is earned, not just given. So like I said before, if you want to give everyone a spot, do not put them on a team where they did not earn a spot, and do not do away with the JV team, but give them a spot on that JV squad. If somebody really loved cheer, they'd be fine with whatever team they made, regardless if it's JV or cheer.
Yeah, your time is up. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, our next person up for public comment is Beatriz Escobedo.
Good evening, Interim Superintendent, school board members. My name is Beatriz Escobedo. Both of my daughters have been part of the San Benito High School cheerleaders, and we are no strangers to the tryout process. My daughter Mariah is a current 3-year varsity cheerleader who just went through the tryout process and made varsity for her senior year. I admire her and all the students who put themselves in the limelight in hopes to become the spirit leaders of the student body. This tryout process is rigorous. It pushes some of these young athletes out of their comfort zone and promotes teamwork and independence. These students are placed in front of a panel of judges and display their skill level in hopes that they will be selected to hold a prestigious title. Unfortunately, not all will have this feeling. Just like in football, basketball, and every other sport, there is a distinction between the varsity and junior varsity teams. Athletes make these teams based on their ability to perform at a certain level. Cheerleading is no exception. The tryout process is based on a skill level and execution. I know this because I have had the privilege of sitting on a tryout panel and being in the judge's seat. My daughter and her teammates have gone through 3 years of broken teams that are founded upon a broken tryout system because parents cannot accept the outcome. Teams that are founded upon everything but our athletes' skill level. This sport has become everything it shouldn't. Cheerleading is much more than wearing bows and poms. They are physically using all their muscles within their bodies to lift 100-plus pound athletes and ensuring they are executing rigorous stunts with precision and safety. So why was this decision based on inclusivity rather than on the athlete's skill level? Placing girls on the team because of parent complaints invalidates the work ethic of these athletes who did not make it. It invalidates the countless hours of practicing and perfecting in preparation for the big day. It invalidates the enthusiasm for the sport so many of these students love. Prior to tryout, parent and participants were required to review and sign the Constitution in its original form to continue with the tryout process. In addition, athletes choose to accept a JV position if they do not make varsity.
Ms. Escobedo, your time is up. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you. Okay, our next presenter, our next person for public comment is Destiny Ratliff. Welcome, ma'am. You have 2 minutes, you may begin.
Good evening. My name is Destiny Raddiff. I currently attend San Benito High School, and I have been an SBHS varsity cheerleader going on 3 years now. I am here today to discuss the decision that was made about these girls and boys being added to the team. San Benito has yet to let us have a normal cheer season from COVID to online tryouts and everyone being added to the team because tryouts were not fair. To this year having normal in-person tryouts and parents still complaining about their daughters and or sons not making it, which resulted in everyone now being placed on the team once again. We are not allowed to post nor express our opinion on social media because parents want to take it out of proportion and say we are being bullies or we're speaking foul of their children. But here's my question. When was it ever okay for an adult to literally direct a post towards us girls when we're the ones being bullies, right? I feel like as my work and dedication during the tryout process was not taken seriously because now all these girls are added to the team, and I'm not hating towards anybody, but I feel like I earned my spot. And then these girls want to come in and take that privilege away from us when we earned it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Maria Salazad. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. Maria Salazad, and my comment here today is, so I would think that all the girls that tried out for Berta Cavazza Middle School and Miller Jordan Middle School, those girls that didn't make it should get a call before this week is over and tell them that they made it too. Because I know of one girl that didn't make it, and she's been crying ever since. So if you're gonna do this for the high school, you'll have to do it for middle school also, and whether they made it or not. And all the boys on the sideline that aren't starters for football, everybody needs to play too, because everybody needs to participate, not just the stars. So this is a decision you all are gonna make, the fair thing. Everybody gets to play, everybody gets to be on the team. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, we have Lily Marroquin.
Hello. Hello, I am Lily Marroquin. I am a current sophomore and a 2-year returning varsity cheerleader and this year's co-captain. Every year around this time, dozens of girls along with myself work hard preparing for tryouts. Late nights, long practices, and even longer practices after that, thinking whether all this effort will be worth it in the end. Eventually, tryout day is here. Everyone is anxious but excited for what might be to come. I remember during that week of practice thinking, is this even worth it? I told myself, of course it is. Hard work is always rewarded. The day after tryouts, I saw my name under the list of varsity cheerleaders with co-captain written beside it. I realized all my hard work did pay off. The excitement I felt during the moment was unmatched and made me feel full of so much excitement I could have cried tears of joy. Then a few days later, everyone is notified of the sudden changes made. Of course, we all know the reaction this decision caused. Learning about this made me feel discredited and overlooked. It's frustrating to know that administrators have decided to give in to others and put the ones who'd earned their spot last. This settlement caused many concerns. How is it right to give these participants a spot due to their opposition and that only? How is it right to ignore all who initially made a team based on the qualified judges' scores? What is this teaching the community? I can tell you what some may believe after this. Some may think that complaining their way into success will be acceptable in the real world, when in reality, that lesson will get you nowhere. Now think, how did the ones who dictate the decisions make their position? They ran and competed against others. They worked hard and earned their spot of authority. How would you feel if your diligence was disregarded and others were put in your place for the sake of their dissatisfaction? That would not be fair to you all who worked hard and have the qualifications needed for your position. How would that make you feel? As a board of trustees, I would think you all would do the same thing we are doing today, fighting for what we believe is right.
Thank you, Meow. Next, we have Monica Gonzalez. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, and thank you for having us. My name is Monica Gonzalez. I am the mother of Lily Marroquin, an upcoming junior and co-captain for next year's cheer squad. When my daughter Lily told me that she wanted to try out for co-captain, I assured her that if she worked hard enough and gave it her all, that maybe, just maybe, she'd have her heart's desire and earn that spot. We began practicing hours on end weeks beforehand. I saw her practice in front of the mirror over and over, very late night privates, long hours on her own. As a mother, we all want to protect our children, but at the same time, we want to encourage them to go after what they want. After this decision was made, rumors then began to fly around social media, and it became almost overwhelming to think, what are we doing and teaching these children? You have to try your best and earn that spot, is what I have taught mine, which many did. All of us as adults know nothing is ever handed to us. You've got to work hard for what you want and also need in life. Was saddened for the students who did not make the team and knew they had given it their all. But when we all sat through that Zoom meeting and the sponsor read to us the Constitution, at the very end she said we had to agree to the terms and understand and know that the judges' scores were to be final, no matter what. None of us know exactly who or why or what was said to make the interim superintendent decide to override this Constitution. What we are teaching our children is that no matter how hard they try, sometimes, whether it be that job they're applying for, the college or scholarship they're applying for, and yes, even a spot on that team like Lily tried out for that night. Times right now are not easy. Life is not always fair. By allowing everyone that tried out to automatically make the team, I think is very kind, but at the same time wonder what is it that we are teaching them. We are teaching them that no
I'm going to
matter...
have to cut you off. I'm sorry, your time is done, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope I say this correct. I want to say it's next up, we have Elijah Arredondo. Is that correct? Welcome, Elijah.
Hi. Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna talk. This whole thing seems like, this whole thing is like, it's a lot. Being like a newcomer in cheer, I really just thought I was gonna make JV, but not making the squad at all obviously was like really sad. And well, now I'm on the team, and well, we're all on the team. But having over 60 people on a cheer team doesn't seem like a really smart decision. And a lot of these girls that tried out are just like me and have no experience at all. And having us all out there, along with all of these really talented girls that have already been on varsity, doesn't seem like a fair, I guess, choice at all. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliza. All right, next we have Ms. Anissa Hernandez. Sorry, next we have Ms. Anissa Hernandez. I forgot to turn on my mic, but come on up and welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anissa, as most of you know. I am the captain for this year's cheer team. And what I just mostly want to cover with y'all is like questions I have. And I know you're not going to answer them for me, but I kind of want you to ask them to yourselves, you know, see why you made these decisions. And first and foremost, I just want to say everyone who's here or everyone who's watching, I just want to say I'm proud of every girl who put the hard work in these tryouts. It takes a lot to try out for a cheer team, you know. And with that said, I just want to say, like, you know, what we carry as a cheerleader is to be a role model. It's to be, you have high expectations, you know. You have to follow certain rules. With the Constitution we sign, it has certain rules. There has been a new one made. No one has signed that yet. I just want to address that. No one has signed a new Constitution with these new rules. I just want to say, like, why would you put us in this position? Why did we try out? You know, I'm sure everyone gave it their best. I know everyone gave it their best, you know? Some get nervous, some don't. Some have the skill, some don't. But that's what tryouts are for. And you know, if you don't make it, that's okay. You keep going, you prepare for the next year. Or if it's not for you, then you know that. That's why tryouts are in place. I feel like it's very important. And this year it was very fair and square, very much fair and square, you know? Scores are final. There were multiple judges. No one knew the judges. And I just want y'all to know that, you know, like, being a cheerleader should be an honor. It should be an accomplishment. And right now you're making it feel for some girls like that didn't matter, you know, like everyone can have this feeling. Everyone can, you know, make the team. That's what you're saying. And it takes a lot, honestly. And yeah.
Thank you, Anissa.
Thank you so much.
Your time is up. Thank you. Next up, we have Ms. Sandra Lial. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so my name is Sandra Lial, and I'm here to speak on the other side. We've heard of all these girls that put in a lot of hard work, and they worked, and they practiced. Well, what about the other girls? They did the same thing. And when we met with Mr. Avedigo, the assistant principal at the high school, he admitted to us that the night of tryouts, instead of releasing the results, he chose to take them home. So automatically, that should have invalidated the whole process. Because when you have voting, like in Cameron County, you can't take those votes home and say, oh, let me take them home and let me count them, because that invalidates everything. So how do we know as parents, as grandparents, as uncles, as the girls themselves, that nothing wasn't tampered with. Also, has anyone mentioned that there are 3 parents' names and 1 non-parent name that keep on being thrown out there that have a vendetta against some of these girls? Because it's going all over the place. Okay, have you as parents thought about how your words and your posts are hurting these children? Because that's what they are children. How an adult man can pose as a cheerleader and post it on Facebook and ridicule these girls is unacceptable. How these girls can share that on Twitter, on Snapchat, on Facebook is unacceptable. Because just like you're reading on the Constitution, there's repercussions on that also. What kind of example is this? You have a set of parents that are spearheading a vendetta against these girls. You have mothers and daughters that were in the same situation that these girls were in last year.
Ms. Lial, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Okay.
My apologies.
That's
Thank you.
fine. Thank you.
Next up, we have Lynn Perez. Welcome, ma'am.
So my name is Lynn Perez. My son is Elijah. He was one of 3 males that tried out. None of the males made it, which, you know, I'm not going to lie, my son is not ready for varsity cheerleading. So for you all to put him on a varsity squad is just insane. Like, there's no way he's going to be ready for that. And I can say that because I've seen him practice. He could have made JV. You know, he was JV. There's a reason why we have JV. You know, you've got to get these kids ready. My daughter did cheer from the age of 3 up to senior year. And she knows what it is to go through that craziness of tryouts. Like, I give major props to these girls because it is intense. So if you're just going to throw on 14 kids because they're complaining, you can't do that to the girls that earned their spot. Like, that is, you guys are putting all of the rest of the squad in jeopardy because we have seen girls fall. My daughter got hit in the face, and if they don't know what they're doing, are y'all gonna pay for the bill for these kids when they get hurt? Because my son can't lift a cheerleader, I'm sorry. It is what it is. So I honestly feel like you really need to reconsider that. Everybody earned their spot, and that's how it should be. Whether or not they're on JV or not, if you don't wanna be on JV, get out, give it to somebody else, is how I see it. If your child is complaining because they didn't get the spot that they wanted, then take them out and give it to somebody who will be grateful to represent their team. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And our last presenter on this topic is Alyssa Eileen Hernandez.
Really quick, I think that's supposed to be me. Alyssa's my daughter, and we were both on there. I'm not sure, did both forms get submitted?
You're the one that's going to speak?
Well, it's Laurie Hernandez, and then she will speak after. I know we submitted 2 forms, or 2 documentations.
Hold on. You submitted 2 separate requests, ma'am?
Correct.
Who did you submit it to?
Right here to this lady,
Okay,
Mrs. Gonzalez.
maybe there's something stuck on here. You never know. So Alyssa's your daughter,
Correct.
and your name is?
Laurie Hernandez.
Here it is. You're absolutely correct.
And I'm going to try to read this to the best of my ability. I was not aware we had 2 minutes to speak. So in essence to that, I have my daughter who's going to try to continue reading for me, if that is okay.
That would be fine.
And-
Let me just start the timer.
Okay.
All right?
Whenever you're ready, let me know, please. I'm going to try to read fast.
Okay. You may begin.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Laurie M Hernandez, and my daughter Cadence is currently a sophomore varsity cheerleader who will be representing San Benito High School as two-time returning varsity cheerleader for this upcoming year. My topic 1 is the Constitution. Cheerleading, I am sure, is one of the most prominent issues schools have had, and I, for one, understand why administration may be frustrated when it involves cheerleading at times. However, in cheerleading, we have a constitution that sets forth rules and guidelines for cheerleaders, coaches, and administration to follow. The cheerleader's responsibility is to abide by the rules as stated, and the administration and coach to fulfill this agreement. This constitution should alleviate stress all around, and decision-making should be more manageable if followed accordingly. When the administration and coaches fail to follow the rules set forth, it causes harm to the entire team, which results in disrespect within the cheerleaders and chaos among parents, coaches, and the administration. If abided as stated, it eliminates concerns, complaints, upset cheerleaders, and parents in the process. To reiterate, the Constitution must be implemented and used as a guide. If followed accurately, it alleviates drama. As some may say, there is a saying, cheerleading is drama, and I'm sure you heard it as well. But I believe cheerleading becomes drama only if you allow it. For cheerleaders, the cheerleading Constitution must be held to high standards, and it is technical, the Bible in cheer, although one Bible above all. In addition, I understand that during the organization of the cheerleading Constitution, many things can be overseen, as it is inevitable in general. Unfortunately, mistakes occur, and it is the responsibility of the administrators to make it right. The cheerleading Constitution states that it can be amended at any point, and I strongly agree with this phrase for that reason and to an extent. I believe Constitution should be amended with valid and legitimate reasoning to meet the needs of the children, but when done positively, rightly, and fairly. However, it is wrongful to hold resentment, grudges, and treat individuals differently when parents voice concerns or have questions because legitimately the administration and coach failed to implement the Constitution. For this future, I suggest one cheerleading Constitution for the district. It is easier for participants to follow the exact expectations and avoid confusion for all future candidates. It is confusing for parents and students with children and siblings involved in cheerleading from multiple schools, such as myself, within our district. I strongly feel that it is vital and there should only be one Constitution to follow.
Can turn it over to Ms. Laurie.
Is that one topic, or do I have 2 minutes per topic?
It's all about cheer?
Well,
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
Okay. Can anybody else read my last one?
No,
Or
ma'am,
unfortunately, they
there's a
can't?
time limit there.
Okay, mamas, I don't know which one to do. It's all.
Well, I thought you had multiple topics for it. It's all about cheer.
Unfortunately, I don't. Correct. This is Alyssa Hernandez.
Hi. Okay. My biggest concern is always safety first, second, and always, of course. However, it is about fairness and equal treatment to the entire student body as well. Let's not forget having fun, showing school spirit, and making memories. Yes, children work hard for their position. I owned a cheer gym, and at one point in my life, have three daughters of my own who love cheer, and it is safe to say they are great at it. So I have seen the hard work, dedication, and countless hours children apply the dedication, commitment, and love children have for the sport. After today, many people would judge me, talk down on me, dislike me. Some may even appreciate me, and I accept it all. I owned a cheer gym in the past, and unfortunately, I know firsthand how cruel the world can be. I have been hit with all aspects, some good and some bad, from being talked down on, posted on social media platforms, and even accusations about my family, and that is okay. I'm not here to be liked or judged by anyone. The only person I am here to please and accept judging from is our Heavenly Father up above. I made the decision to come forward to advocate and stand up for what I feel is right. I am not saying the decisions or opinions of others are inaccurate or vice versa. However, to each their own, and unfortunately, you are entitled to your own opinions as I am mine. Unfortunately, the past 4 years, the administrators have placed cheerleaders on the varsity cheer squad without any form of communication. No form is required, but it is out of courtesy, and it would be appreciated. And despite the judge's decisions, of course, whoever made this decision affected many individuals in the process more than I imagined, and possibly not realizing. I'm sure, although I do not agree with the decision for this placement, I strongly feel alternatives could have been taken to meet the needs of the child. I completely understand why varsity cheerleaders and parents are upset, and I will not justify that. There's legitimate and valid reasons. I get it. This has been going on for way too long, and it's upsetting and frustrating for the cheerleaders and parents. There must be change, and I agree enough is enough. However, I do not stand for negative postings pertaining to children on social media platforms. Each child is talented in their own way, and some more than others in different areas, but it is heartbreaking and not okay to speak down on children. Some postings were acceptable in my perspective, but others were completely cruel. I understand many are upset, but in the end, a parent will have their child's back 110%, I'm sure. It is okay for parents to voice concerns. It's a parent's job to do so, and I believe there isn't anything wrong with that. But speaking ill of a child is unacceptable, especially from grown adults, more so of parents with children on the team. For the most part, who knows?
Okay, Mia, your time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. I know that these board meetings and so forth happen occasionally. I'm not sure when they occur. But if I want to continue this, is it possible to come back at the next board meeting, or how does that work?
Yes, ma'am, our regularly scheduled board meeting is scheduled for the 12th, I believe, next Tuesday. So you're more than welcome to come in and sign up on the public agenda.
Okay, and
public comment.
to reiterate, just really quick, it is first 3 minutes of a topic, and everything that is in addition is 2 minutes after that.
If it's on the same topic, like today, yes.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next public comment on a totally different topic is Ms. Rosalinda Garcia.
Good evening and welcome, Interim Superintendent Cervellon, back to San Benito CISD. I wanted to talk about two non-agenda items, one it being public comment. I welcome these parents that they're voicing, and it's something that this majority board fought for. They voted for public comment, that it doesn't have to be the agenda. They welcome all comments. As before, we had a board that didn't want the community speaking on topics that were not on the agenda, like cheerleading. It's not on the agenda, but you're able to speak. Whereas before, we had a board that stated she got tired of hearing the people coming up and talking about the same thing over and over. Well, this is important, community, and trust me, the majority board is behind you. They welcome your comments and your concerns. And it's all in public records. The non-agenda item that caught my attention was ABC Consultant Services. And I'm throughout the years, I've been looking at expenditures, and I've seen ABC Consultant Services being paid $9,000 month after month. And I came across a policy or a memo where the previous superintendent discontinued the services of ABC or suspended it for a while because of COVID. And I requested, well, when did this occur and how long? I haven't gotten my response yet from your public relations department. And they said they asked for an extension. And if I'm wrong, I haven't seen it on my email, because we were still paying this company $9,000. And as some of you know, I've been against this paying $9,000 when we have a public relations department. And back in 2017, our superintendent said he was hiring ABC to improve the public relations department. Maybe it's just me, I didn't see Mrs. Cervellon. I haven't seen her out there in multimedia, welcoming her. I see Dr. Nayola a lot. I wouldn't even see that from Dr. Carmen with the students. So I myself would like to see an improvement and consider the ABC contract where it just went into auto-renew without being presented to you all, if my facts are straight. But they have 2 more years to go, or another year, and being paid $9,000. So I hope you all have a good discussion on that. Thank you.
Ms. Garcia, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our portion of public comment. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. And at this point, we're going to continue with our curriculum committee meeting agenda.
Today's Tuesday, April the 5th, and I call the Curriculum Committee meeting to order. It is 6:12 p.m. Item number 2.1, presentation of communities in schools, quarterly reports, and program updates. Ms. Cervellon.
Sorry. So today we do have a presentation by our communities in school personnel that is going to walk us through their quarterly report.
Good evening, board members, Ms. Severon and Mr. Moreno. My name's Eva Perez, and I'm the Executive Director for Communities and Schools of Cameron County. And I am here, thank you for allowing me to present. In your package, you have the reports that were submitted to you last week for your review. I'm going to go over the it's the mid-year report, which is this one. And basically, it's got your 9 campuses that we provide services, that we have a site coordinator, and the numbers that represent for each of the campuses. As you can see, each of the schools that we provide services, they have a caseload, and this year's caseload is 96. It varies. As you can see, Angela Lial has 107, Berta Cavazo 95, Frank Roberts 98, La Paloma 100, Millard 100, Gateway and PRC 119, Riverside 86, San Benito High School 102, and BMA 85. These are the caseloads that are asked from TA for us to have on a yearly basis, and based on every year it changes depending on the funding that we get from TEA. And right underneath on your left side, we have the different services that we provide to the students at each campuses. As you can see, the second line item, which is the non-CIS student, we assist students that, even though they're not in our program, if they come into our offices, we provide services. We don't turn away anybody. As you can look at the numbers are pretty high. They range from 300 to just, Gateway only has 10, but you can see San Benito High School, we have 930, which means that any student that walks into our office, regardless of what they need, we will provide the services. If we have it, we'll go ahead and provide it. If we don't have the resource, we do agency referrals. So we refer that family or that individual so that they can get the services if we don't have it. We do some of the services that we provide as case managers. We re-engage our students in attendance. I know that last year coming from Virgil, coming back to face at the beginning of the school year, that was a big challenge. And so we assisted our administrators with home visits, phone calls, trying to get our students back re-engaged to coming back to school. We provide services not just to our students, but also to our families. One of the issues that we did find that has increased tremendously was our mental health. And so we noticed that there is a rise in mental health issues among our families due to the pandemic, among the families and among the students. And so for the mental health, we do behavior monitoring. We do social emotional activities. We do conflict resolution, crisis intervention, mentoring, suicide prevention, supportive guidance, personal issues. We even do supportive guidance on grief. And last year we hired a clinical social worker to help us with cases that were more severe, and so on a professional level. And so she has a caseload, and she's exposed to all our district's needs as well. Like I mentioned, we do have parental phone calls, we do home visits, we do parent conferences, we assist with school supplies, clothing, food product, hygiene product, we do incentives, and we also do agency referrals, and we also provide services for our homeless students that have been identified by the districts as well. And so, do you have any questions on any of these numbers that I provided?
What was your name, ma'am, so I can write down?
Eva Perez.
Eva Perez.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
I have a very simple question. Where you have on that spreadsheet, the total CIS student caseload listed by campus, is that the goal for each campus, or is that currently what is being how many students are being serviced?
Okay, so like I mentioned, our numbers are given by TEA because we fall under TEA. This year's numbers were 96 per campus. But if you notice, there's some campuses that have gone over that 96, and that's because they were referred to our program, and so we feel that they need the services, so we go ahead and we exceed the 96 number. So we don't turn anybody away.
Good, and so with that said, and thank you for that information, I'd like to go ahead and also just so that the rest of my colleagues here on the board know, in discussing some of these numbers with my own CIS person at my school district, you know, like you said, the number given by TEA for us this year is 96.
Yes.
So of course, if we have more, the more the merrier.
Yes.
But an advantage to having more as well is because we do lose students to other school districts. And our hopes would be that communities and schools is part of those districts where these students move on to, because once we have them on record, they also become part of their new school district CIS. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
And just to go on what Mr. Moreno is saying, the following reports are these, and these are individually reports, and this is where what Mr. Moreno is saying, that even though we're here in San Benito, we also provide services in Brownsville, Los Fresnos, and Rio Hondo. So Mr. Moreno's site coordinator is at Rio Hondo, but if any of their students transfer to San Benito and they transfer into a campus where we have a site coordinator, the file comes back to the new campus, and then the new site coordinator will pick up where the other site coordinator left off. So we don't lose the child. And so we continue providing services to make sure that that student is provided with whatever was being provided at the previous district.
Great. Thank you for that, ma'am.
Is there a possibility of expanding the program to other schools like Oscar La Fuente?
Yes. It's just a matter of the district saying, Ms. Perez, we want to. At one point, when I started back in 2006, we had a site coordinator at each of the campuses here in San Benito.
That would be very nice.
And so it did work out pretty well, but due to funding and because of the grant that we were under, it lasted for 5 years. And so then we went down to 10 campuses, which is what we're at right now. But yes, it's a possibility that we can expand. Any questions on any of these reports?
Questions, board members? No? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Agenda item. Item 2.2, review and discussion and memorandum of understanding, MOU, between San Benito CISD and Communities in Schools, CIS, for the 2022-2023 school year.
Before we continue, Mr. Medrano, on item 2.1, presentation, that what Ms. Ms. Eva Perez presented to us, was that not just a presentation? That's something that needs to be?
No.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not an agenda
No,
item?
not agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Perez.
Okay.
Good evening, President Moreno and members of the school board, Mrs. Servillon. This is our MOU with Communities in Schools. As you just heard Mrs. Eva Perez present on all the great things that are happening in our campuses that have CIS in their campuses and working with our students. I did forward this MOU to Mr. Weller for review, but I'd like to propose that we have it on the agenda for an action item for next board meeting.
Questions, board members? No questions. Agenda item. Item 2.3, review and discussion of new career and technical education high school courses. Ms. Servillon.
Yes. I have Mr. Rosa here, if he would please come to the podium. We have our classes that we are looking at, our new classes for CTE courses for next year. We have social media marketing that we're proposing, advanced marketing, introduction to welding, welding 1, welding 2 with the lab, the practicum for manufacturing and communication and technology and education. These are courses that we would like approved. We do have our staff that is already with us. This was not additional staff. This is using the staff that we have and offering some of these courses so our students have more opportunities for their certifications and their pathways. So when they graduate from San Benito, they have some of these certificates under their belt. So this is what we're proposing for next year.
So I do have a question, if I may, sir. May I? I'm sorry. Thank you. Ms. Alvarado, so you did mention pathway, so every single course that's listed here would be part of a specific pathway, they all apply?
Mr.
Would
Rosa?
that be correct, Mr.
Yes,
Rosa?
that is correct. And in an effort to increase enrollment in some of the areas, I kind of looked at the numbers, looked at the data, and some courses I was able to combine and say, you know what, that frees that teacher up for another course, which were, in turn, we added some new courses. At the same time, we were able to combine some courses, and I'm gonna move a teacher, or not move, but send them one period of the day out to VMA to offer it at the 9th grade level, again, to increase enrollment within our CTE courses. Also, of course, to adjust for the current pathways, and we're looking at 24 that we offer right now in the district.
Mr. Rosas, you guys already do the welding, correct? So is this just
The
an
welding,
addition? Is this an addition?
That's
to
an
that?
interesting one, because when I went in there, I assumed, like anybody else and everybody that I talked to, that we had a welding program. We do teach welding, but it's part of ag mechanics. We don't have a complete pathway for welding, so this year, or this coming year, we're gonna add a complete pathway, and I've got actually 2 teachers that are gonna help me accomplish that. We're actually gonna start it at the 9th grade with an intro to welding or a principles to manufacturing.
So when they graduate, will be these certified welders?
Yeah, there are several certifications that are gonna be out of that, and the idea behind that is also, Texas A&M is getting ready to go full force with, it's in manufacturing and engineering in order to help supplement what's going on with SpaceX. That's gonna happen in the next 5 to 10 years. It's already happening, the monies are gonna be there. Hopefully our kids, when they come out of this program, they're gonna go straight into that and continue, because they'll send them to school, you know, free of charge. The monies are gonna be there.
So would they'd have to be enrolled for their 4 years, the freshmen through seniors, or would it be
Not
like?
necessarily, no.
They
No,
get their
because
certificate,
they
they
can
can
get
do
their
it in 1 year?
certificates after I believe it's the 2nd course, 3rd course, depending on what level they are, because there are about 5 or 6 different certificates under welding that they could receive.
Oh, wow, wow.
And that's what I wanted to interject, that there are multiple
Yes.
certifications you can receive under welding. So you go with welding 1, welding 2, so depending, of course, as you're more successful and
Yeah.
go
Right,
higher
like a
up,
master
welder
you
or
can do,
something.
yes.
As your skill
exactly.
levels improve, so do the certificates and the level of certificates. So when you go into a job and they say, you know, you have an ASE 1, okay, you know, that's pretty good compared to some of the other, they
Yes,
just
sir.
have the beginning certificates. So that's what we're looking for in the next
So it would
3
be
or 4 years.
introduced at a freshman level?
Yes.
Yes, and it would also impact our CCMR, if you
Oh,
would like to
definitely. It
emphasize
would
that.
definitely impact our CCMR. And that was the other reason for making some of the adjustments in there, because we also had some teachers that were teaching the CTE courses, but not necessarily certifying any students in any areas. So we made a few adjustments, so they said, okay, now next year I need you to start having these students test, okay, to help us out.
So they will be considered college, career, military ready when they
Right.
leave our district.
Okay.
Correct.
Perfect.
Any other questions, board members?
I have one more.
Sure.
I'm looking at these courses, and I'm impressed. They're great courses and they're great opportunities for our students. But the majority of these are available to students in grades 9 to 12. Do we currently have in place at our middle school campuses courses that they may take in those levels, whether 7th or 8th
There
grade,
are-
that will go toward a pathway as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's some specific areas that we targeted, audiovisual technology, of course, our Project Lead the Way. There's
BIM?
virtual business, some of our BIM classes that, again, depending on staffing, I only have 2 or 3 maybe in one of the middle schools, maybe a few more. So we try to, if I can increase my staffing, I can increase the courses at the middle schools.
Thank you, sir.
So
Yes.
that's also important to note that with the middle schools, we will be having a meeting this week. We are focusing
Correct.
on our health professions to see if we can continue that at the middle school, which is a high school credit. That also goes into the health profession pathway. Starts with medical terminology.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Ms. Cervellon, so you said if they take it in the middle school, it would count as a credit towards the high school?
Yes, sir. It counts as, it is a state high school credit. We also have Algebra 1, we have biology, we have Spanish, and we even have the English course, which is not as common, but we do have it here at San Benito.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Rosa.
All right.
I think this is a great
step for our kids. They'll have many opportunities, as you mentioned, with the space, X and so forth, right? There's gonna be a lot of opportunities for them. And so this programs will really prepare them. How, for those parents listening and the students listening in the community, how can they find out more about this? So that way they know if they qualify, so 2 questions.
Sure.
How will they get more information on this? And 2, what would qualify them?
Well, currently, I'm working on a couple of things. We're working on the social media component. We're going to work on some videos and some other components to put out to update. We had some older videos, went through them. They weren't too bad. They were really good. But I think we're moving up in the times and we're changing our technology. We're changing the offerings. So we're going to focus on all social media aspects. So, Facebook, Twitter, whatever we can post out there, we're going to add that. I've made adjustments to our programs of study as well. Not adjustments, just fine tune it a little bit better, giving our students more opportunities. We've got a CTE showcase coming up. As a matter of fact, it's next week on the 11th, on Monday. This is to help our 8th graders transition to 9th grade and offer a chance for them to do a walkthrough of our facilities so they can see our health science and see the ambulance, see the hospital room, see our courtroom, and be able to go in there. Most people have never seen that. Most people in the district have never seen that. And when they walk in there and it's like, what do you mean you have this inside your campus? It's there. It's there. And here's our first opportunity. And we're going to invite all the 8th graders and their parents to come in. My teachers have been getting ready and preparing. Some of my high school teachers are going to be there as well. We're going to set up booths because we didn't want to leave anybody out, to come in and talk to them about the different pathways, about the different opportunities they might have. So that's our first start. We had some teachers go over to the elementaries. They call and say, we're having career fair and this and that. You know what, I can send you 3 or 4 teachers. We try to find subs for them. They go for a couple hours and do a presentation out there for them. So we've done several of those already. Once we get full swing, this will be full blown. We need to promote our CTEs because a lot of our workforce, the kids that are gonna stay here and work, are gonna come from those areas right there. So we're really proud of our health science. We're putting out some kids and doing clinicals. They're going out to the hospital. They're going out to the nursing homes. And they're working really, really well. And that's probably our more successful area. But then we have a good group of staff all around that do an awesome job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Agenda item.
Thank you.
Item 2.4, review and discussion of the 2022-23 instructional materials allotment and TEAC certification.
Thank you, Mr. Medrano. Here this is the certification that yearly is completed by the school district with all the adoptions and all the supplemental materials that we are using. So this is what we fill out and we send back to TEA, and this will allow for the instructional materials allotment money to be flowed in to our district for next year.
Questions, board members? Agenda item, yeah. Committee concerns? Any committee concerns? No. I close this meeting at 6:31 PM.